now I'm going to show you how to use the ILF shot trainer for a compound bow. Just to confuse matters, this is not actually the ILF shot trainer I made that you saw in the earlier video. This is one prototype one that I made a couple of years ago, in which I fairly brutally, I hope you can see that, just drilled through a riser to replace the limb fitting with a bungee cord. This was a really cheap little beginner's riser from Merlin Archery, and it was about 30 quid, so drilling through to replace, decimate, take out that limb fitting was really not a concern to me, and it's created a very useful little shot trainer for me to use with a compound shooting technique. So it's got bungee cord on it, just like the other one, and it's got a very crude D-loop, which is actually a cable tie, believe it or not, because I didn't have any D-loop material to hand when I put this together. You can obviously use D-loop material if you've got it, and it's a good way to practice tying your D-loops as well. You'll also notice that cable tied to the riser where the sight would normally go, I've got a laser pointer, and it's got a cable tie around it to keep it turned on whilst I'm using the training aid. This is so that I can see quite clearly what is happening with my aiming phase, so see if I'm getting high frequency movement when I shouldn't be, see how I'm coming down onto the target, just so that I can pay a little bit more attention to the aiming phase, which is obviously a little bit more important with the compound shot technique. So this is used just like you would use your normal bow. Again, you can have your normal stabilizer setup on it. This doesn't have it because this room is too small, but if you've got the space, I would definitely recommend that you have your normal stabilizer setup. Obviously recurve handles, as in grips, are usually quite large, so I've taken that off and put a strip of skateboard deck tape on so that I can get something that's approximately, well, not approximately, almost exactly the same angle as my grip on the Hoyt Prevail that I'm currently shooting. So you can just go through your normal shot routine, into full draw, on the perp, and execute. Don't forget your finger sling. Brilliant, don't do what I just did. Remember your finger sling. That was a good relaxed hand though, do you like that? Just to prove that coaches are not perfect, as if you needed any additional proof of that fact. Let's do that again. So the key things you need to know when you're setting one of these up for compound use is that the bungee needs to be set so that its elastic limit is reached when you're at full draw, to mimic the feeling of the wall. So that basically stops stretching at this point, which is my full draw. That means I can pull onto it just like I would pull on to the wall on my normal bow. That's really, really important. You cannot practice proper compound technique on something that stretches beyond your reference point. It's just nowhere close to the feeling of your normal bow. Let's try this again, and let's keep hold of the riser this time. Into full draw. There we go. There's quite a lot of whip from bungee, particularly when it's small bungee like this. This is only like a 8mm bungee. So I would strongly recommend when you're using these, you do actually put your arm guard on, even if you don't normally wear an arm guard, because you don't want to get whipped. Particularly because if you start to build up a point in your shot sequence where you're anticipating pain, you'll start to flinch and it won't be like your normal shot at all. So wear an arm guard. Ideally don't tie a D-loop as crudely as I have, but to be honest, in these circumstances anything is better than nothing, so there's a good start. Enjoy, let me know how you got on using it in the comments, and see you soon for the next one.